Hello guys, my finance teacher here. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. This is a daily chart in front of you. Since late July, Bitcoin has lost quite a lot. It came down from $8,200, something like that, all the way down to $6,000. There is a support zone over there, so it's bouncing up from that support zone over the last several days. But the main question is, once this bounce up is finished, will it break below the support zone at 6,000? Is it going to go to the next support zone close to $5,000 as my arrow indicates over here over the next several weeks? Or are we going to break out of this formation that one might observe on the chart? Let's have a look at this formation. Well, what I have here indicated with these two green lines is a descending triangle. And unfortunately, based on history, it's more often that these descending triangles break on the downside. So that's why I think over the next several weeks, actually, Bitcoin will come down to the next support zone, most likely somewhere close to $5,000. Well, in reply to that, some of you guys might say, hey, have a look at this 14-day RSI. It's been very close to oversold levels a few days ago. And that often indicates some sort of a low when RSI is close to oversold levels. Yes, that is true. For that reason, I think this bounce is going to continue for another few days. But we're most likely just going to reach this 100-day moving average, and after that turn back down and probably break below the $6,000. Why are we going to turn back down? Well, and Bitcoin cycles generally last for about a couple of months, and the current cycle has only started at the beginning of June, or at the beginning of July, end of June. So we still have a few weeks of a continuation within this cycle, and it's very likely that this cycle has already topped close to $8,400, which means that for the remainder of this cycle, which is another several weeks, the trend is mostly going to be downwards, and I think we're going to see Bitcoin break below $6,000 over the next several weeks because, as I mentioned above, the more often a support zone is hit by the price, the more likely it is going to break at some moment. So our current cycle might actually look something like this, starting close to $6,000, moving up to $8,400, and probably closing close to around $5,000 over the next several weeks. So in the short to medium term, I am relatively bearish on Bitcoin, unfortunately. However, in the long term, of course, I am quite bullish on cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin itself. There are lots of news that point to a possible future explosion upwards in cryptocurrency prices. Let's have a look at just a few most interesting recent news. India is considering to allow some of tokens to be used in financial transactions, although at the moment India still has a ban on cryptocurrencies. As regulations in India relax a little bit towards cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, that of course in the longer term is going to be bullish for the prices. On another news, central banks and a lot of other large institutional investors, as I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about, are considering investments into cryptocurrencies. This article here says that Bitcoin is on the short list, although Bitcoin doesn't have widespread traction yet. And it is actually good that Bitcoin doesn't have widespread action yet. Another news says that at least half of Americans don't have a clue about cryptocurrencies, and I think that is also good because it just means that as time moves on over the next however long it takes, there is just more fresh blood to enter into this relatively young industry, which means in the longer term the prospects for cryptocurrencies are very bullish. So in summary, that is my outlook. In the very short term, we probably will move up to 100-day moving average, which is at about $7,200. And after that, we might see Bitcoin collapse all the way down to $5,000. What do you guys think about it? Is it likely or not? Let me know in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and of course, likes under the video are always appreciated. Thanks a lot.